If you are new to this channel and enjoy what you see, then don't forget to punch that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to receive new and daily content on your mobile devices, desktops, and services that I provide, along with following me on these social media platforms to stay connected with me at all times. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now let's begin. Only 2 minutes remain until the conclusion of the Tournament of Power as Goku and Jiren collide in their final battle in determining which one of the two universes between Universe 7 and Universe 11 are going to be the last ones remaining as the winners from the Tournament of Power. As right now we're about to go on ahead and further analyze, dissect, and break down the events of the recent Dragon Ball Super episode 129 preview in order to get a better understanding as to what's to come in the following events for the upcoming episode, as we kick things off with the first image having to be shown of Ultra Instinct Goku in pursuit of Jiren. And what's most remarkable about this is this entire episode is centered around Goku and Jiren, and what's most interesting is we have no information as to what's going on with Frieza, so I'm fairly certain that this episode, the entirety of this episode, is primarily going to focus on Goku versus Jiren, as we see Goku majestically just flying in the air in pursuit of Jiren, and he looks to be very concentrated, very serious, as we transition into the next shot here. And with Jiren, he looks like he's going to perform an attack, at least to stop Goku momentarily, and as you guys can see in the third shot here, it looks like some Ninja Gaiden type move. I mean, it looks very interesting in the way he's positioned, which to me is also another indication that this fight isn't going to be as one-sided as we all originally assumed it was going to be, because here we get to see how Jiren is basically in position to fight Goku. As we transition into the next shot here, as the narration goes on to state Jiren, it looks like we're going to settle things one-on-one. So going back to the first image as Goku is in pursuit of Jiren, this shot here looks to be a continuation of said events. So perhaps maybe Jiren is loading up to face off Goku as he knows he's going to be charging in his direction, which of course we also get to see how Jiren is basically in position ready to take on whatever is coming his way as he's looking up in the sky. So we can only make the assumption that this is going to be the first picture of Goku having to be shown flying in Jiren's direction as Jiren awaits him, as we transition into the next shot here, and Jiren more or less is also in pursuit of Goku. So as I stated earlier, I don't think that this fight's going to be very one-sided for either character. I do think that this fight for now is going to be evenly fought, and I do think that by the end perhaps maybe Jiren's going to have the upper hand in forcing Goku and transforming further, but here it's as clear as day that Jiren is on the move as we transition into the next shot here. And this has been the fight that we've all been waiting for ever since Dragon Ball Super episode 110. Now Goku seems like he's missing shots. It looks like Jiren is also looking like he's going to miss a couple of shots as well, and this fight I think is going to solidify both characters and eventually possibly tiring each other out, which could possibly lead to Frieza capitalizing on a win. But either way, these characters, from based on what we're seeing now, could be fighting at full power, maybe halfway to full power. I do think that as we go into Dragon Ball Super episode 130 is when we're going to really get to see both characters utilize their full power, but here it looks like they're kind of missing shots as they're attacking one another as we transition into the next shot here. Now this shot is the most interesting in my opinion, because we see Goku and Jiren in the air, and based on Goku's demeanor, based on the way he's spinning, he actually performs a kick, and it's because of this one singular kick that results in this massive explosion having to be seen on screen. And that one kick had such velocity behind it, it caused an explosion that pretty much rattled the entire stage, as the narration goes on to state, out of this dimension speed, overwhelming power. Now we are going to be touching up on Goku's overwhelming speed and why he is the way he is in a future video, but it looks like even based off of Goku's movements, the way they're fighting, these two are going to be fighting at such a pace that even transcends dimensions. So this is most interesting considering that they're most likely not even at full power, to say the least. So with that being said, one of Goku's kicks was able to literally destroy the entire background just by missing Jiren in that attempt. So you can only imagine as to what would have happened if Goku actually connected the kick. As we transition into the next shot here, and there's not much really going on here as Jiren is in pursuit of Goku. He's flying up in the air. Great art, hopefully enough great animation. As we transition into the next shot here, as the narration goes on to state, even faster, even stronger. So this reminds me of the closing act of episode 110 when we saw both characters pretty much slug it out in trying to determine who was the alpha between the two. Here, there's more or less a similar thing going on, and you can't even imagine the amount of shots that are thrown here because, again, going back to what the narration stated, this is supposed to be something that even transcends dimensions and speed. So these two are going to be fighting at such a pace that hopefully enough nobody else is able to register, like the Omni Kings and, you know, the Daishinkan and whatnot, but these two are going to be fighting at such a pace where it's going to be most intense as we transition into the next shot here. And this is most interesting once more because Goku is on the defensive side in his attempts to block off Jiren's punches, and what's most interesting is as we transition into the next shot here, the narration goes on to state, "I want to surpass my limits and beat you." So Goku obviously clearly here suggests that he wants to not only surpass himself, but he wants to break through his own limits as well. So I think that that alludes to the mastery of Ultra Instinct further on in the episode, but nonetheless we can only assume that these two are gonna really slug it out until, I would have to say, the end of the episode, where we finally get to see the mastery of Ultra Instinct as we transition into the next shot here. Now this is scary. This is scary for two reasons. Number one, this is an Ultra Instinct Goku firing off a Kamehameha directly at Jiren, and the second part that's scary about this is Jiren isn't even defending himself in the least. He's standing there very similarly to how he stood there against the Spirit Bomb, and we can only make the assumption that Jiren is going to easily, with complete ease, be able to not only handle this Kamehameha, but fire back against it. Unlike how Kefla did when we saw Ultra Instinct Goku fire off a Kamehameha against her, we have a similar situation going on here, where Goku fires off a Kamehameha from point blank range. However, as we transition into the next shot here, it's as clear as day that Jiren has absolutely no problem in deflecting the waves of the Kamehameha as Goku fires off the Kamehameha from point blank range. Now you can see that Jiren is holding up a blast, and it's because of this that ends up, as a result, knocking Goku back as we transition into the next shot here. And even Ultra Instinct Goku in all his glory is super surprised as to what Jiren is doing, and this even surprises me because we have to take into consideration how strong an Ultra Instinct Kamehameha is at that given level, and to see Jiren casually just raise his hand up in the air and deflect that energy blast is beyond amazing. As we transition into the next shot here, as the narration goes on to state, "This is the end. Here goes Jiren." And Jiren looks very focused. You can tell based on his demeanor. He looks very angry. He looks very focused. And maybe as a result, it's because of what Goku's been doing that, you know, causes Jiren to get thrown off guard a bit. And it's very interesting to see what's going to play off from this, because we know from both sides of the spectrum that both characters are really gonna, you know, slug it out and giving it their all as we transition into the next shot here. And just as I said, we see Jiren holding up a blast, and this blast actually manages to not only deflect the Kamehameha, but also inflicts serious damage on Goku as we transition into the next shot here. And as a result, the entire stage is covered in this orange reddish like light, and the only person standing is Jiren, and Goku's getting blasted backwards. So we see little shards of pieces and debris coming from Goku's back, and I really doubt that Jiren blew a hole in him as many people have suggested. I really don't think that Goku is in deep trouble here, but I think that at this given point, Jiren has not only managed to catch up to Ultra Instinct, but perhaps have the upper hand in giving Goku a harder time than how Goku originally thought he would have against Jiren. But what's most interesting about all of this, as you guys can see in the next shot here, everything is just engulfed in this massive light, in this massive explosion, and Goku isn't anywhere to be seen. So based on what we're seeing, Goku gets blasted back so badly that he ends up either being rendered immobile, or something happens to where it triggers Ultra Instinct that much more in discovering the next level beyond that, as we transition into the next shot here, as it goes on to state, next time on Dragon Ball Super, Jiren is standing over something. From what I think it is, it looks like he's possibly standing on the actual pillar that's in the middle of the ring, and he's looking down, and all we can see is blue and white and silver lights coming from the bottom. This is obviously, as you guys can see in the next shot here, a direct result of Goku having to not only lose his shirt, but master Ultra Instinct. As the translation goes on to state, limits super surpassed, Ultra Instinct mastered. And it's because of this, if you guys really pay attention, it looks like the Super Saiyan God here that we originally saw in BOG, except it's white. So obviously Goku looks a lot more beefier, he looks a lot more muscular, the aura around him seems to be covered in blue, purple, and white-like lights, so we can only imagine that Goku's gonna have different kinds of auras. It looks, you know, very reminiscent to other deities that we've seen before have purple aura instead of the red aura that we saw in the poster, but I could be wrong. We don't really know as to what this form is truly capable as of right now, and the official name for this form is not Super Saiyan Blanco, it's not Super Saiyan White, it's not Super Saiyan Silver, it's called Mastered Ultra Instinct. That's what this is, and Goku's going to demonstrate this, as we can see in the next shot here, with just an amazing look, and he's glowing in white light. His eyes are obviously silver, and we can only imagine as to how strong he's going to be, which is why I wanted to ask you guys as to how strong you guys believe Goku's going to be at this given stage when he fights Jiren. So in the end, I would like to know what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. What are your overall thoughts on Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku? Do you guys agree with his hair being white? What are your overall thoughts as to who's going to have the upper hand? What are your overall thoughts on Jiren from what it looks like based on the preview, giving Goku a hard time and pushing him back, easily being able to be swallowed by the Kamehameha and pushing it backwards, where Goku falls back via Jiren's energy blast? What are your overall thoughts as to how Goku is going to function with this mastered UI power? Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, everybody, if you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to go on ahead and punch that subscribe button, turn on all notifications, that way you guys can be notified whenever a brand new video is posted on your desktops and mobile devices. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a wonderful day, guys. Cue my outro, bitch.